Y'all, warmer, sunnier days are calling. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Head to factormeals.com/wellread50 and use code wellread50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That is WellRED50 at factormeals.com/WellRED50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. It is good stuff. Now enjoy the show.
Here we are. Well read, fellers. Out and what's the lady? What's the female version of fellers?
Well, that's a fellow. Would that just be a lady?
Yeah, but that we also have gentlemen. You know what I mean? Ladies
Sure.
and gentlemen,
Yeah.
fellows, and they just don't get one. Which I mean, that makes sense. You know,
They have extras. Sometimes they have extras though, like Miss and Mrs.
Yeah, but I mean that's also funny because it's like the only reason that they have that is to denote whether they're like a worthless spinster or someone's property.
Right. You can't fuck her. She belongs to somebody.
Yes, exactly. And
fellow, pardon me, fellow.
They do
Please remove your dick from my missus.
Where her name is just his name, but with Mrs. in front of it. That's always been funny to me too. You know what I mean? Mrs. Drew Morgan.
Yeah,
Mrs.
it's
Trae
so funny.
Crowder, that type of thing.
It's like some broads. They got broads. We don't have one of those.
Yeah.
Some broads these days, they're like, I don't want to take the last name. And it's like, well, 50 years ago, you had to take them both. So lucky we're letting you keep Katie. It's wild.
So
the world is insane.
If stuff looks different to y'all, and it probably does, it's because we're on Zoom right now because Cho is on a tour bus distributing democracy to the huddled masses via the mechanism of stand-up comedy. More on that in a minute because he should be joining us. But he's normally the one that does all this. It fell to me this week, and we used the same software we always use, but it just wasn't working, so we're using Zoom instead. So anyway, that's why shit looks different. That ain't why Drew looks different, though. What happened to your mohawk? You looking real...
Well, I heard we were going to be on Zoom, so I got like an appropriate haircut. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was it what you mean, like Zoom, like court Zoom? Like you look like you're in court for something. You know what I mean? Like
Zoom's for business.
Yeah, right. But you don't look like business. You look like you're court business.
Court, like I'm the criminal?
Yes. Yeah.
That's funny.
With that haircut and that. You could also be the cop, just like off duty in a hotel room. The hooker just left crying, probably. And
because I did what I did and then charged her with it.
Yeah. You're going to take one of those showers where you just, lean against the wall with the water running over your head for a long time.
And then it trickles down over my Nazi symbol on my arm. People who are only listening are like, what are they talking about?
Drew's kind of skin-headed, not literally skin-headed. He's got a real tight buzz cut, basically.
Well, two things. I've got a tight buzz cut, but two things. I have a receded hairline, so at certain angles, it just looks like I'm shaved. And then even two, the sun hasn't blessed that part of my head yet.
Right.
So it's like, I look skinheady because you can see my skin even through the hair that is there because the hair is thin and the skin is bright white.
This actually is relevant to something I was going to ask both of y'all about this week anyway, because I got my patch of gray on my temples keeps encroaching further and further, which is generally fine with me, but that was my question. Also, I was watching the new season of The Boys last night, and I'm only 2 episodes in, but Homelander's aging and it don't hit for him. So I was asking.
I'm also 2 episodes in.
So I was going to ask, like, how y'all felt about aging, specifically where like looks or aesthetics or whatever are concerned. I feel like we've talked about how like, oh, you can't drink as much. Oh, you hurt all the time. But I'm talking about like how you look.
Yeah.
You going to combat that? You going to lose your mind and get?
I'm not going to lose my mind.
Just for menned up, or are you just going to let it ride?
Well, I've already done it some to my beard because I filmed a Don't Tell. Yeah, and I can't pretend like I've not thought of it or whatever because I did something to combat it. In my mind, it was like, and this is true, their audience is all like 28.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that I want to trick them or feel the need to. It's more like a fear that I have, and I guess this is a fear of getting older, of like, if I look old as they're scrolling, they'll write me off before I ever open my mouth.
Yeah.
And in my head, that sounded both reasonable and not super like weird, but that's like literally what every old person's worried about, other than ones who want to look hot, is like they don't want to be written off. So I guess I would have to say clearly it bothers me, but it's funny because I never thought it did. In my head, I was like, well, I'm in this industry. You got to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird though with streamers though. Some of them like they be older than us. I think some of them have like real, but like, it seems like they also wear costumes and stuff. I'm real dumb about streamers, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you know or care. None of it matters, but a couple like streamer controversies going on right now. They're wildly different. I only know this because of Reddit. And I've got some friends in Salina who like know about streamers and shit. One of the biggest streamers is this dude. And I always just assume they all have very, child heavy fan bases because that's the nature of what they do. You know what I mean? And like you were just saying, you don't want to look old. Well, there's this dude that looks old, but he dresses up in like he's called Dr. Disrespect. You heard of that guy?
Well, I've only heard of him recently, I think because of the controversy.
Yeah.
And I purposely was like, oh, I'm skipping over this. Now I'm thrilled to have you tell me the story, but I didn't want to like read and then read it. You know what I mean? You have to like parse.
Yeah.
I had no interest in parsing Dr. Disrespect.
I know, but it's like, dude, he was like he like did things for the San Francisco 49ers, like at the kickoff game of the season and stuff like that. Like they brought him out on the field and I'm telling you, these people are huge, is what I'm saying. These streamers.
Sure.
And they have mostly young fan bases. Corey, we were talking about like looking older, and Drew's saying he just did a don't tell and he like dyed his beard hair a little bit because he didn't want to look old, because don't tell's audience is young and they don't want to be like
I did the touch.
They won't be like, this old idiot don't know stuff. And then I started, and I want to circle back to that, but like I was saying, Twitch streamers, they all got young kids but some of them are old too, like easily our age or older. Yeah, but they also definitely kind of act like they're not or whatnot, and
they're all dude broy.
Yeah, but they also, I don't know, I don't understand it. I don't understand any of it. The other controversy is with this guy. He literally is it's just that like people found out that he might be gay, so it's like,
is this the one that
the sketch one is that one
pretty different.
But what's Dr. Disrespect?
Pedophilia.
That is very disrespectful.
I know it's also disrespectful to like compare the two, but it's fun. Like the sketch one, the other guy's name is Sketch. Evidently, I'd never in my life heard of him until yesterday. But anyway, he just like, people found out he made like gay OnlyFans videos in past years, and that's like a controversy, which seems like it's 1996 again. But apparently it's because he's a Madden streamer. And football. Yeah. It's like actual football players, except they can't be gay either. But it's like,
so this is related to the Hawk Tua thing we talked about a little.
That's why Antonio Brown was the one that called him a F word.
So this is related to the Hawk Tua thing we were talking about a little bit, because he's been claimed by what is essentially now the young right wing. It's like Barstool, the Theo Von fans. He's been on Theo Von, which is how I heard of him. Here's why it's wild to me. For people who don't know, I learned this. This to me is the controversy, but probably because I'm old. I knew who he was because he was on Theo Von, and then you know how like if you like a clip, then they just keep showing you that person.
Yeah.
So the algorithm kind of forced this character Sketch upon me. He's a streamer. He seemed like a little bit of a spectrum-y, very positive, very sweet, very wholesome kid. A lot of the videos that I saw were probably people like Dr. Disrespect, putting him beside a porn star without him knowing they were going to be there. And he's like really awkward. So me finding out that he like used to do gay porn, I was like, wait, what? And I then found out is that Sketch is a character this guy has created. A lot of his fans know this because he got so famous. Like the former frat he was in was like, yeah, that's not how he acts. It's like, and so like my nieces and nephews know Sketch. Like Sketch is big. They're doing the "What's up, brother?" which is like his sketch phrase, and he points at the sky. I literally thought that he was this like sweet, kind of on the spectrum streamer who had all his phrases are positive. He's very positive. And I was like, all right, I guess that's who this kid is. Good for Gen Z or whatever. So to find out that it's a character, some actor, like I feel fooled. I feel old in the sense of like, did y'all know he was just an actor? Because he got me.
I only saw Antonio Brown call him a queer.
Yeah.
That's my intro. By the way, Drew,
It's,
you look like white trash Maroon 5. You are Adam Ravine. That is who I'm calling you. It's hitting for me.
Maroon 3/5. So
yeah, you go.
To me, the controversy for me was like, that's how out of touch I am. Apparently, people are pretending to be regular people as streamers because that's more, profitable to me and zany. I don't know if I'm making sense, but
so are you telling me that what I saw was at the front page of Reddit was his, like, I don't know what you call it, not an apology, him addressing it, right?
Yeah.
And he's sitting there with his headset on, whatever, and he's like, and he's being super, super, super awkward at first. He's like, listen, look, a couple years ago, look, you guys may have, okay, so, man, this is, all right. And then he goes, I did not have sexual relations with that man. Wait, no, I did. Maybe. I don't know. But, and it, like, I thought it was funny. Like,
he kind of hits for me.
Like, it hit for me, too.
He hits.
Like, also, I was surprised by the Bill Clinton reference.
Yeah, right.
From
he's 52.
Presume is a Zoomer, but yeah, maybe he's older than that. But anyway, it's like, you're telling me all that was fake too? Like, that's just a character he does. He ain't really like that at all.
Right. Because my understanding is
I totally bought it character for sure.
Right. And so that was like wild to me. And then as far as the controversy of him being gay, like I said, it's related to the Hawk Tuah girl thing because he is a darling of what I don't know what to call it, the barstool
alphas.
Yeah. The alpha world. That's their little brother.
And
so a part of me is into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that he might
especially because he didn't apologize.
Well, who also didn't apologize was Dr. Disrespect. He got on Twitter and put out a like, again, I see all this through Reddit. I have no idea what any of these people do. It's important to me that people know that for some reason. Well, I know the reason because I don't really respect this stuff, obviously.
Yeah, right.
But told me
he got on Twitter and posted a big long thing like addressing the controversy, but in it he just kind of admitted that it happened, but that I mean, not really. He was like, look, were there some text messages with someone who may or may not have been underage? Sure, there were. Were they pretty inappropriate? I guess so. It depends on how, like, and everybody's just like, where are his lawyers at it? Like, whose idea was this? Like, he kind of, and then
even that feels like a character, like on The Office or something,
I mean, he definitely plays, obviously, his name's Dr. District. He plays some kind of character too, but I don't know what the thrust of it is or the premise of it or anything. Based on the streamers that my sons watch, he's probably just like loud,
Corey,
loud while looking zany.
30 Rock, the blonde lady's character's name, is it Jane?
Jenna.
This feels
in
like
real life, her
Jenna.
name's Jane. Yeah.
It feels like a very Jenna speech. Look.
Yes, it does.
Were there some inappropriate text? I mean, maybe. Did some of them show pictures to me filleting a 16-year-old Guatemalan boy? But that's not the point. The point, America, is that I love freedom and the flag.
That's pretty much.
It's very Jenna Maroney.
That's pretty much what he did. That's pretty much what happened.
I mean, dude, this is like some sort of broken dystopian thing where this sketch kid apparently is an actor who was pretending to be on the spectrum for views. We're like, we talked about it before. Sometimes you write a character that becomes beloved in a sitcom, but if you lived with that character, if that character was real, it'd be like, you can't like Jennifer Aniston in Friends, you can't do the things, you know what I mean? Like Ross was the only non-psychopath on that show.
He was a pretty big psychopath.
Probably. I just said a thing I read on the internet once.
So
but my point is, like, what if he wrote that as Dr. Disrespect?
I don't think it played.
Well, that was Alex Jones's defense.
Yeah.
Alex Jones literally said, "I'm kind of retarded."
Yeah.
That was
his
defense, direct quote.
In paper, like that they wrote out, was that he was doing performance art.
Right.
Well, the nightmare with that is the next Alex Jones, and maybe Dr. Disrespect's a version of him, is going to go, all right, well, that was a dumb lie, but what if I start out planning to say that?
I mean, that's just another version of the, like, you know, the Fox News defense. Remember that they had that huge case, right, where they were like,
Tucker.
It's literally called Fox News, and they argued like no reasonable person could believe this is actually news, and the courts like agreed with that, despite the fact that it's called Fox News, and every mammal in this country think, well, not every, hashtag not all mammals, but most of them think that it is news. But Corey, are you like, what? I mean, I feel like I know the answer to this for you, but see, I'm going gray, you're going bald, all this stuff. Talking about getting older just in terms of looks alone.
I cut my hair. I'm not any more bald than I was.
You yourself was talking about your hairline receding, so I thought that was a tacit acknowledgement.
But that's not why I should. All right, whatever.
Okay, where do I fit in now?
Yeah, but no, I mean, just in terms of looking older, like you going to fight back. You're not going to go quietly into that good night. You're gonna rage against the dying of the.
No, I mean, I really think that it's really true. Like, we've joked about it for years, but I've sort of got that Arn Anderson thing where, like, I just feel like I'm going to look this age for a long time. And
I mean, yeah, you already have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like, eventually,
42 forever.
Yes,
right. And I'll be 42 soon, and so it'll just make sense. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to grow into myself.
And then you hit the hitting part of it, which is the back end of it. It's like I literally thought you were 40ish when I met you, and you were 23 years old, and that don't hit. But like, once you get past 40, and you get into like 50s, and you still look 42. Now it's like.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man.
60, but look 42, and it's like this guy hits. So yeah,
and I mean, I've put on a little weight since the baby, but it's coming back down. And like, you know, I'm a relatively I carry my weight well, you know. And I mean, look, I'm always gonna be backwards hat idiot dude. So like, my bald's never really even get, like, I promise you this, I will either always wear a hat or I will get hit in hair plugs. So like, I guess that would be me fighting it. But like, that's not really even like I want to look younger thing. That's just, I just want hair because I've never had it.
Yeah.
All right, like, something I just thought of, like a follow-up question for you, Corey and Trae. And caveat, I'm thinking of this because of my answer to you, Trae. And Corey, I think it was before you got on here. I was like, I was going to say that I don't care about this shit. But then I realized I said that like, the only reason I dye my beard is because I was going on this thing that's being recorded, and you know, I didn't want the kids scrolling to see it and write me off before they. And it's like, that's what caring about this.
That's
shit
caring,
is.
yeah, that's caring, yeah. But I mean, you know,
would you care the same or not at all, or what would be different if we weren't in the business we were in? Because for me, I genuinely think it's the only reason. I really do believe in my heart. It's the only reason I think about it is that I am perceived, and I unfortunately have to think about how I'm perceived a lot.
I mean, I could not agree more, because like, I feel like most of my insecurities come from the fact that I have to be seen by a lot of people all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
and they love to comment.
Like, dude, when I'm at home, I rock the ring bald in front of my family. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, none of that bothers. I don't care. But then it's like, when I'm out in front of people, I'm like, oh God, I have to see a picture of me from this angle and that angle. Like, I don't know if I'd completely let myself go if I wasn't in this business, but I do think that like having to see myself on camera is the only thing that kind of keeps me in a little bit of check.
Yeah, that's a slightly different version of what I said too, because I was just thinking about how I am often, like, I'm always thinking about what's the audience think when I walk on stage? What's the audience think when they're scrolling? But you're also right. This has kept me in check on tour. People post pictures of us.
Yeah. And I can't control that.
And I think this is a very relatable thing for people listening. It just happens to them so much less. We're like, one Christmas you saw yourself and you hadn't taken a picture in a while, and you were like, what the fuck? Well, that happened to me on tour every fucking month.
Every day. Yes, that's yes, exactly. Like, I would see these things and I was like, holy God, Jesus Christ. But like, honestly, it's really funny because like, for a lot of my career, and I know this kind of sounds weird considering I dress like a clown, I wear backwards hats and stuff, but like, I was actually always I hated it that I appeared so young a lot because I felt like the audience, because my audience was always a lot older at the Comedy Catch and ours. I was like, they're not taking me seriously or whatever. So like, I don't fucking know. Yeah, I know, and that sounds stupid too. I can't believe they ain't taking me serious. He's talking about titty sweat and farting. Goddamn. I did that last night. I opened with that.
I don't think. I think it's because of like the Don't Tell thing I taped. I know they have a young audience. I know who their audience is. They're one of those companies that are like, here's our demographics. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh,
that's why it's such a big deal.
Yeah, I think it's that mixed with, and I'll get vulnerable about something I do care about. My career's not quite where I want it to be. And so I think there's a part of me that's like going, dude, nobody breaks into this fucking business at 45.
That's not true though.
You might be right, but like in my head, I'm like, it's got to appear a certain way, which is stupid. But beyond that, and I think I mean this, I don't like show them the gray. Like, yeah, I'm almost mad at myself for doing it now because I'm like, yeah, dude, you got a kid. It's funnier to talk about your kid being keeping you up at night if you look like a guy with a kid keeping you up at night.
Dude, I tell this to Amber all the time, and maybe it's just me like saying it in a like, please be true, please be true, please be true kind of thing. But I'm always like, whenever a comedian is the new it guy, like like your Gaffigans, your Nate Bargatze's, your Bill Burrs, Louis, it always happens to them. Like they've been in the game for a while, but when they really hit that huge level, they're always a little bit older. You know what I mean? And it seems like 40-something-year-old white guys, that's about the time it's like our comedy finally meets the age we need to be for people to pay it. I don't fucking know, but like, yeah,
I agree with that.
So I disagree with your notion that like people can like break at 45. Like if they don't, if they start at 45, no, but like I disagree with that.
I think what I meant though is like these were known entities who blew up.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I think I just am processing this. I think I wanted my Don't Tell to look like it was like, okay. And then the next thing comes out and then he reveals the gray. You know, it's like, I don't know why. Yeah. All this is stupid.
No, I hear you. Like, the same stuff goes through.
I haven't had my burr on Chappelle's show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Anyway, yeah, that's the part. Well, I know people don't. We get way too inside baseball with it. But that last thing you said is what because I think of everything Corey just said too. I tell myself that to sleep at night as well very often. But then I think about what Drew just said, which is that like 15 years before Burr became the hittingest comedian on earth at the age of 45 or whatever, he was the white guy on Chappelle's show, absolutely crushing. And nobody knew who he was, different. But he was
the business is different now.
I agree with that, Joe. But I think, and maybe this is grass is greener, Trae. I think you can, like, if you pop to another level soon or in your 40s, plenty of people would be like, yeah, you should watch that guy's videos. Yeah. He was shirtless. And now he owns a house. That's crazy.
I'm just saying, like, dude, we're white men. Like, I know that this is inarguably the worst time to be white men in this industry, but it's still a good thing to be. And like we don't, and this sucks for women, but like the clock don't tick for us the same way. Like if I was a woman, I'd be freaking the fuck out right now, but I'm not. So,
Yeah, Trae, I'm really glad you asked this. I'm kind of fucking had too much coffee and I processed it out loud. I hope the fans are at least entertained. I did that because I got in my head about how young Don't Tell's audience is. But I really, and I think I mean this, I really don't think I care about most of that stuff. I care very much about my inability to play basketball without my back going out. I care very much about hiking and my knees hurting. I don't want to get fat. I just don't want to. Because I've told you guys before, I feel like people have treated me differently when I've gotten fat.
No, really?
Shut up, fat ass. So I just don't think, other than that, man, I'm disappointed in myself for caring about the Don't Tell's young audience. I really don't think this stuff, I guess I'm comparing myself to other comedians and actors because that's mostly who I know. Compared to that group, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Compared to my dad, yeah, I'm a huge pussy about it.
I hit way harder than my dad.
In that way, your dad like cares about how he looks?
Just in general. Just in general, yeah.
What do you think about people?
That's how Corey's proven he don't care. I hit harder than my dad.
Like you said, compared to other people in show business, especially like every now and then, It seems like I don't know, maybe that, I don't, y'all think they get more work done now than they used to? It seems like they, yeah, right. And
that buckle fat thing, we've actually been talking about it on the bus with all the comedians I'm on tour with.
Yeah, I want to talk about the bus at some point.
One of the girls was talking about, and I was blown away because and I'm going to say her name, I'm going to put her on blast, but she's real young, and she was talking about like she has had Botox or whatever, done and shit like that. And I was like, I would have not. All of this is going through my brain because when a woman starts talking about getting work done, I'm just like, nothing I say is going to be good. So fuck that. But I was just like,
leave all women.
But I was just like, man, you ain't old enough to be having that shit done. But then I'm like, hey, man, maybe she saw a wrinkle and she's a woman in this business and like she has to be thinking about that stuff and I don't. But anyways, I then did pipe up and I was like, okay, so I've been hearing a lot about this call fat or buckle whatever. Fat, and I said, and y'all fat. Seem like, yeah, and I was like, y'all seem like y'all know about it. And they were like, oh, yes. Yeah. So they start telling me. And yeah, it is the pure cheek fat. And I was like, well, like tons of people are having that shit done, right? And they were like, yeah, probably. And I said, I only say that because like I just see so many celebrities now with dramatically better cheekbones. And I'm like, I don't know how you worked that out. But you know what I mean?
You think it hit, you said dramatically better cheekbones. You think it hits harder? Because okay, I'm not just saying this. I think they look like ghouls. Like sometimes
they look like
no. Well, there's good work. Well, dog, there's good work and there's bad work. Like Dolly Parton has had a series of good work, and there's people who've had the same amount of work as Dolly, and they look like the fucking Donatella Versace bitch. You know what I mean?
Drag queen makeup is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Sure,
but Dolly Parton, and she's beloved. I'm gonna get so much shit for what I'm about to say. She's beloved, and so it changes your perception. If you didn't know who she was and someone just showed you a picture, I think you would be like, what happened?
Okay. All right. Maybe bad example, but somebody like Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe looks amazing. He's clearly John Stamos, Tom Brady. These people have had work done, but I don't think they look like ghouls. I think
what's the common denominator here, boys?
Well, no, there's women too that have probably had it done that I don't think they look. But I think the only like the big example was like when I saw the Erin Moriarty picture from The Boys. Not to dump on her, but it was a stark like, holy shit, you look like a different person. And I think they took too much.
The
fucking
I think he's
Matt
Puerto
Rife.
Rican. Sure, but no, on The Boys, the Puerto Rican cop.
Mother's Milk.
Nah, man, one of the boys. He might be black. I thought he was Puerto Rican. One of the boys.
You talking about Frenchie?
About his name. Not Frenchie.
No, everybody was talking about Mother's Milk, the black guy.
He looks different too.
Skinny. I think he got skinnier and shaved his beard.
He looks awful, in my opinion. Is that Ozempic face?
I don't like to. We're getting a little mean girly about it, but I do agree with you. It's the mustache. He used to have a beard. Now he's got a weird little mustache, but he also lost a lot of weight, and he was like a big, thick motherfucker.
Yeah.
And even though he still looks like he's definitely in shape and stuff now.
He don't look as menacing though.
But compared to his old thickness, like he had like some fat and everything too before. He was just thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, right? And
you know what I thought?
And now he looks weird because sometimes you lose a lot of weight real fast. He
lost so much weight. Drew thought he was Puerto Rican.
Yeah, that's
You know what I
maybe Dominican, maybe because they can be kind of black, right? Let's talk about
Dominican. I meant Dominican. Okay, you know what I actually thought, and this is wrong. So I apologize to everyone listening for this wrong thought that I had. I thought, oh, he's gay, and he beefed up to get a role in Hollywood because he knew he'd be typecast as a tough guy, and he got that role. And feels secure in it, and now he's like, I'm gonna look the way I want to look. Because that thin mustache looked a little bit to me like Jonathan Watersy.
Either that, or it was what we were talking about, where like he hadn't had a big role, and then he gets one, and he sees himself on TV, and people were commenting like, "Look at that fat Puerto Rican looking black guy."
He's Cuban.
He's Cuban.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. Fuck you guys. You tried to throw the racist at me when all I did was confuse my Mexicans. So fuck you.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, you're right. I'll agree with you that Cuba and Puerto Rico are closer. Yeah,
I was still very. But you guys were like, he's black. I'm like, he is.
But he is black, Caribbean right?
Black.
But he is black.
He's Caribbean black.
Yeah,
he's Caribbean black, and I can tell when they're that.
Well, obviously, you can. You fooled me.
Yeah. I should add the Papaw should hire
It's
you
not
as a consultant.
racist if you're good at it. Yeah.
He can pick them out. Help them categorize everybody for the cancer.
How do I hate him?
Drew. Yeah.
Dude.
Y'all, we're all on the road a lot, and then when we get home, it's like we're just trying to decompress, and we don't always want to cook, even though all of us very much love to cook, and that is why we love Factor, because we want good food, but we want it quick. And Factor does that. Warmer, sunnier days are calling, baby. Fuel up for them Factors. No prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals. And that's a big key part because a lot of these are so healthy. In time for summer, thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus. You got to get that protein, and Keto for all my keto freaks out there. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart your new healthy routine. What are you waiting for? You know? Like, we all keep saying we're going to do it, and then we don't do it. But with 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you always have new flavors to explore. Crush your wellness goals this May with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. Make your day delicious, by the way. That's the thing. Healthy and quick doesn't have to mean garbage. From breakfast to dessert, stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, blackened salmon. I mean, have I already said enough to where you're like, I'm in? Because I feel like I've said enough. I am a huge fan of Factor. And I'll be honest with you, when I first heard about them, I was like, no. This is like, I don't do those heat and eat things. I like real food. But then I had their like French onion chicken, which like I'm not gonna lie to you, my expectations were like whatever, blew me away. Right? The mashed potatoes are great. All the stuff is great. And it's just boom. I don't have to think. And that's a huge part of eating healthy, being on track, is that when you come off the road and you're super hungry, you're like, I'll just eat anything. Well, with Factor, you've got that. You just heat it and eat it. Head to factormeals.com/WellRED50 and use code WellRED50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code WellRED50 at factormeals.com/WellRED50 and get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. And by the way, my mom called me last week. She had no idea that we were sponsored by Factor, and she was singing the praises of Factor to me. And I was like, yeah, Mom, I'm aware of them. And by the way, if you want your next month to be cheaper, just go to factormeals.com/WellRED50 and use code WellRED50. It's really good stuff because my mom is a bit of a prude. So I promise you, it's good stuff. Do it. He didn't need it. All right. Love y'all. Back to the show.
I just heard it reminds me, today I heard a Robin Tran joke that was very funny, where she goes, I'm the least racist type of person because I can tell people apart, just not very specifically.
No.
She's like, if you can't do it at all, you're racist. And if you can get real specific with it, you're racist.
Yeah.
Right. Corey.
Yeah.
How goes the spreading of democracy through comedy?
Oh, I mean, honestly,
that's better than doing it through war.
Yeah, the shows have been really fun. And by the way, last night in Muncie, it was a well-read crowd, buddy, and everybody was missing y'all, saying, hey. We had a bunch of well-read podcast fan putting on airs peoples.
That makes me really happy, but a part of me is like, all right, dude, cut the fat. Fucking go on tour by yourself, dog. Make more money. Spread democracy and spread your butt cheeks and let the bank man fuck you in the ass.
I mean, yeah, if you bringing everybody out,
Yeah, I guess your fans talk to you after the show, and the other people's fans talk to them after the show.
It was mostly mine, but
it was all me.
But
set them up for that one.
But no. But I'm just saying, like, that wasn't necessarily the case in Milwaukee. It was a spread everywhere. But Muncie, I guess, we've just got, that's where our people are. But it was super fucking fun. The shows were great. And the bus, so I will say this. The first day we were on the bus, I slept the entire 5 hours. And I took that to mean like, man, this bus super hits. Well, today I wasn't able to go to sleep. And this bus has, I'm going to say, 0 shocks. it takes every bump like Tyson hitting you in the fucking chin. And like, I literally have bruises on me from when I was just sitting normal and I got slammed against the window, or my arm got slammed because the bus is just going. But, you know, I love all the comedians on there. So we were, I say we were having a good time. I put on my headphones, listened to a book, and ignored everybody.
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, I mean, I've always thought a tour bus would hit, you know, because in my head, in between places, if you're driving at night, you sleep. But if you're driving during the day, I don't know, fucking somebody brings an Xbox or you watch a movie or play cards or something like that. But so I was going to ask about the like, what are you doing on there? But you're just sleeping and listening to books and stuff and just sitting in the corner, brooding, ignoring everyone.
Yeah, they were all having a good time.
A man after my own heart.
But like but we hung out after the show last night. We've been hanging out after the shows, and I've just told everybody, I was like, I've got like my type of anxiety and depression or whatever is I've got so much hangout juice, and if I use it all right now, I probably won't even have a good show. You know what I mean? So I was like, I just need to, you know, relax. So yeah, I was ignoring everybody, but they were all fucking, you know, doing their shit. But on the bus, like bringing us back from the hotel and shows and stuff, we're all tagging each other jokes, and it's like, you know, we're hyped from the show, and like it's all fun, but it really is a blast. I'll tell you, you know, I'm not doing well, missing my kid. I'm not doing good. Amber's been sending me so many fucking videos, and like, I know I'm making it up in my head, but I'm like, he's an inch taller. You know what I mean? Like,
no, all that shit. You're not making it up. Sorry to tell you. I was gone for 5 days, and Roscoe grew 2 inches once. But I'm wondering, how long are you gone for? That's what I want.
A week, right?
No, 10 days total.
Okay.
I'll be back. We left Thursday or Friday, and I'll be back Sunday or Monday. I can't remember, because it's really
10 days and then you're off for a bit, or is it 10 days and it's over?
10 days and it's over. And but the thing is, like, I didn't really even, you know me, they just tell me I'm gonna be gone for these days, and I'm like, all right, cool, and I don't check shit. Well, we've only got like 5 shows, but we were gone 10 days, so we've actually got days off in between.
I was gonna ask you about that too.
I dig it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like, because that almost never happens.
It never happens.
Like, the only time I can even remember that happened to me, and it's like, obviously this still don't hit, but I had a Kentucky run, and the second day of it was Lexington, and the fucking theater was about to collapse. They found out that morning.
I remember
that they had to cancel the show day of. Had nothing to do with me, but I had to be in Louisville the next night, and I had been in Bowling Green the night before. So me and Donnie just like went to the horse track and just like bet the ponies on that or whatever. And it was like, it was so great. Like an unexpected day off on the road is fucking killer, but like,
oh, that's heroin.
But it's still, you're out there the whole time, but you have days off in between, and people don't, that's like very,
and
very,
I don't have to
unusual.
Drive.
Right. So like, you
like
tonight, you just get to just hit in your hotel room, right? Where are you at?
Yes.
Where do they stop?
Tonight we have a show. We're in Hazard, Kentucky tonight.
Okay.
But then tomorrow we go to Memphis for 2 days, but only one show. And like they were all like, none of these people are from the South, right? So like, I'm definitely like their attaché of all this shit. And they were all like, ooh, Corey, would you go to Graceland? Have you ever been to Graceland? I was like, yeah, I'll go for the 8th time again. That'll be fun. And I was like, you know, or, you know, y'all can book the tour or whatever, or I could just give it to you right now. You know, I can just tell you all the shit. But so we're going to do Graceland or whatever, which is going to be really fun. But like, yeah, I mean, I've been like, the one positive I'll say of like, not having my kids sucks, but like, I've been sleeping.
Oh yeah.
It's been amazing.
Always the thing. Yeah.
Oh my God. Every hotel we've had has the blackout curtains.
Yeah.
And and so I'm pumped for having, you know, 2 days in Memphis. Like, you know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna burn myself on ribs.
Yeah.
And then I think we got 2 days in Fayetviile, Arkansas, and like, yeah, the being away from home part sucks, but the not having a show every day is like, it's kind of the most relaxing on the road I've ever been.
Well, here's the other question. These other comics, most of them you said earlier, they're like younger, they're young comics, younger people. And
yeah, well, you know what's funny is that I found out that the one guy that I thought was insanely young is actually just 1 year younger than me. He just be taking care of himself.
It'd be like that sometimes. So that's related. He'd be taking care of himself. Is anybody be drinking? Do you be?
So everybody's been having a drink. So this is funny. We were in Muncie last night, And the guy that was running the venue was super fucking cool. I mean, rad ass. He had a Robert F. Kennedy, if Robert F. Kennedy wasn't a lunatic vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was a handsome guy. Yeah, he's just handsome guy, has a commanding personality, but was like super cool. And he was like, hey, do what?
How was his son?
I didn't meet his son. I met his dad, though. And he was like, same way, kind of. And he was like, hey, guys, you know, the bar's on me. Y'all do whatever you want. So, like, we've got like an hour before the show, and I go over there, and they give me, I was like, I'll take a wine. They gave me one in a mason jar. And I was like, oh, is that how you serve them? She's like, no, we usually put them in this, and then this how we measure it and pour them in the glass. But I just figured it would hit for you in here. And I was like, yeah, it does hit for me in there. So anyways, I'm having my wine. Show still hasn't started. We're kind of just chilling out. I finished that wine. And I mean, I think we all know what you do after you finish a wine. You go get another wine.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And the producer of the show was like, you're having another drink? And I was like,
no.
I was like, but she wasn't mad. She wasn't mad. She was just like, you're having another drink? And I was like, am I having a second drink? She's like, yeah. She's like, oh, you go, girl. You do your thing. And I was like, see, man, I'm about to show out.
That was passive aggressive, dog.
Out. And I got drunk.
See, this is why I asked. It is a goddamn epidemic in the comedy world. It's just like with, I guess it's with everything.
Pussification.
I guess it's with everything, because it's also, when we wrote a book, we found out it was that way with writers too, authors. Yeah. But comedians are the same way.
They don't drink no more.
They used to be fucking drunks and drug-addled lunatics and stuff. And I'm in green rooms now, and my openers out everywhere I go. The openers are anybody. Like,
it's like that with wrestling too.
I'm the only one drinking, and I'm like, the fuck is wrong with y'all? You know,
they saw their heroes die at 50.
But
that's true. But we don't have.
And also, it's way more competitive now. I mean, all right. Let me just say this. I'm with you guys. Okay,
I hate it. I hate it.
Do you think
I refuse.
If we hadn't drank so much and spent a little bit more energy figuring out how to get what we was doing? Because I think a lot about some of the nights we had on stage, and like, you know, what we were doing on stage was fire, but getting that out to the world, we didn't get that out to the world.
People weren't doing that.
I feel like if we had more energy,
we wouldn't have done it anyways, though.
But that's Drew's point. That's Drew's point, I think. It's like the idea that if you're not, part of the reason why we're worthless in that way, because we should have been making all kinds of content, videos and promos and all this stuff, and we weren't doing none of that, and it would have helped us. And part of the reason why is because we always felt like shit, because we were fat and lazy and hungover and drunk and stuff. And that is definitely true, but it also just hit harder. But secondly, what you're saying, I've thought that before too. It's like, dude, everyone makes these crowd work videos and shit. We were doing that at the end of every show 8 years ago, but we weren't filming it. But people weren't making those and putting those out back then. And I know we could have been ahead of the game. But
numerous times our people said we should be filming the Q&A, blah, blah, blah. And we always said we can't afford to hire somebody to do all that, which was true.
Which is true.
What people are doing now that we could have done is somebody else is filming them. And then when they wake up not hungover, they edit them themselves. I absolutely know how to do that now. It would have taken me 3 weeks to learn it back then, but I felt like shit every day.
Right.
I'm fine with where I am and the memories I've made. I'm
comfortable. I'm with you. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying that is why it's like that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We have an ultra visible, because of the internet now, ultra competitive, ultra lucrative industry. And I just think that the people you're talking about still exist, buddy. They're road dogs, and people whisper about them. They're cautionary tales. Honestly, that's a testament to how fucking good we are.
Well, I make it to the shows. I'm on time. You know what I mean? Most of those dudes are like sleeping in hotels and not making it to shit. Like, I don't have a problem. But like, if we're doing like, and I told them, and this is true, because they were talking about, like, they were asking me about Disney or whatever. And I was telling them I didn't drink. They're like, wait, you didn't drink? You're a drinker though, right? And I was like, I know this is how this is about to sound, but like, usually only when I work, you know. I was like, we just got one of them jobs where you can drink. And I'm like, well, fucking A, right, brother. You know, but I was like, no, when I'm on vacation and stuff, like, I don't drink. It's just like, to me, I can't. And like, I'm good at stand up and I believe in myself, but like, having a couple drinks will make you a couple, not a lot. It's going to make you have a better set. It's going to make you have a better fucking set.
I'm with you on that, dude. But a lot of people, I guess it's generational comedically or something.
It might also be.
They use sobriety as a crutch.
Study high. Yeah. It might also be, if you study high, you got to take the test high. We might have gotten good at comedy
I know that's true for me. I know for a fact that from the time I started, when I first started, I was so insanely fucking nervous that I had to have a couple of drinks to be able to get on stage at the very beginning. And I'm a very like conditioned person and habitual and like a creature of routine. And it's like I started hitting early on, and that became a part of it for me. You show up, you have a couple drinks, you go up, you hit. The couple of drinks became like a part of the hitting for me.
It also just hits.
It also does just hit. You're right. You're so right. But it's like,
that's the part I can't get away from.
Me. And it's like when I've tried to do it without, and I've, there was a stretch of time right after we first came back from COVID, I wasn't drinking at all for like months on the road. And none of us were. I wasn't hitting for myself.
Me either.
Okay. I was doing better as a stand-up, and I have continued.
I was not.
Not me.
But the reason why isn't, in my opinion, no drink Drew's better than 2 drink Drew. It was 6 nights in a row. 3 drinks Drew is so much worse than 6 nights in a row than no drink Drew.
Well,
and then I learned how to be present and all that stuff. But this
being present ain't it.
Well, this is fucked up. I learned I did get better at being sober on stage, and I do think it made me a better comic. You want to know what? Then I started having a couple of drinks again, and I was even. It's like you got to train sober, and then you got to perform on 2 drinks or something. Like you get better, I think, sober. Like you remember what you did. You remember that tag. You're, oh shit, I thought of a new one. At least for me, and then, going back to the don't tell thing, this is what I did. I did not drink on stage hardly at all, maybe one every once in a while for the 2 months leading up to that set. And then I had 2.5 before I went on that night. It was like I learned this set sober. It was like Chris Rock sitting down and reading his jokes and getting laughs and then performing them as Chris Rock later. It was like, I made this hit sober. Now watch me fly.
Yeah, right. Well, I had 3 glasses of wine and did 5 new minutes on Garfield that fucking smashed, and I don't think I could have done that sober.
Muncie is where Jim spiked the mason jar in front of the producer's face.
By the way, Muncie, Indiana is where Jim Davis is from. I'm not just doing Garfield. I'm not just doing a bit on Garfield.
But see, the idea that, and I think Drew very likely may have been right a minute ago when he said, like, no, that was passive aggressive, bro. Like, even if it wasn't, a lot of people are like that. And when the idea that like you having 2 wine, like if people are showing
that's
their
insane
ass,
to them.
If people are showing their ass and fucking things up and being rude and harassing people, that is like a problem. And it's like, we can't work with this guy. But if all you're doing is doing the job and hitting, but you're having more than 1 drink while doing it, the idea that people are out there judging for that now, that's unacceptable. Fuck that.
And by the way, we worked together before.
Pisses me off so much knowing that is true, or at least may be true. I'm projecting maybe, but
maybe she's like a theater producer, not a rock and roll.
She rules. She rules, by the way. But
like, you know what I'm saying? Like there are worlds, Andy's world, actors, dude, if you were having a glass of wine before you did a play, people would be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, hold on. Let me tell you this story that I texted Trae earlier. And I think it illustrates this too about the general vibe, not just the drinks. We were at the gas station earlier today, right? We're getting out to pee. Everybody go in, get your snacks or whatever. Well, I was about to fucking go get all my Skittles, do all my thing or whatever. And then one of the comedians, she goes like to the group, she goes, you know what? I think I'm going to be bad. And everybody was like, what? And she goes, I'm getting some sweet tarts. And everybody was like, oh my God, holy shit, you're getting sweet tarts? I haven't had those in like years, but you do, you girl, you know, treat yourself or whatever. And I'm sitting there, I didn't get nothing.
Corey snorting Adderall in the bathroom.
And they were all just like, you know, they have chemicals and stuff, but like sometimes you just got to do it. And I'm like, bruh, if y'all went on the road with the WellRED crew for 1 week and like just observed and we didn't know y'all was there, you would fucking vomit. You would vomit.
I would destroy their family. Y'all would kill one of those people.
I'm saying, and that fact that is true, it just blows my mind because I don't feel
because we're
not
fucking Belushi.
Savage, right?
Because
exactly.
we've compared ourselves to Belushi. This goes back to the thing I've talked to you guys about every male friend duo, one of them's Wyatt Earp, and one of them's Doc Holliday from the seminal motion picture Tombstone.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can be one to one friend and one different to the other, right?
Oh yeah.
I am everyone's Doc Holliday in my life, except for comedians. I'm almost every comedian that's in my life's Wyatt Earp. You guys are saying we're not that bad because Corey just said it, because we're not John Belushi. Oh, you mean the guy that died at 30? Yeah, we're
yes.
not.
Yes, I am.
But
we're not. But I don't know. We're not.
We are drunks.
no.
Nah, you don't hit. We hit. You don't.
This
hit.
is what I'm saying. Corey's right. This is the
pussification
pussification of society. That's what this is.
Yeah.
I
You've been
agree.
look. Go hang out with your fucking Don't Tell Young piece of shit fans and talk about being straight edge, motherfucker.
Oh, it ain't out yet. And I'm not gonna have any because I was talking about being a dad and they hated it. Just kidding. It killed and it hit for them really hard. I want to go back though. It was like
what time is it?
1:06
Okay.
Pacific
It was
time.
passive aggressive.
That's fine.
And it might be that this producer has had many roles as producer, and there's plenty of cultures, performance cultures, like rock and roll and comedy and rap probably really are the only ones where you're supposed to do that. You're probably not supposed to be having drinks if you're doing a play or whatever. But Trae, what if, just hear me out, just a wild hypothetical that's probably not even remotely true. What if fucking Corey's got the goddamn bee going back there? He's got the banjo tooted up, and he's in the middle of saying something about how fat the ass was on the bartender. I'm like, buddy, I could have rested my fucking drink on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then like that was the context because
but it weren't.
You're saying all that happened was you had 2 drinks.
I am like, telling you.
I don't know, man. She was calling me out.
That's definitely.
Here's the thing.
I could buy that. I do believe him when he says he had only 2, but what you're describing also could very easily happen.
I'm not saying he had more than 2. I'm saying he was in the middle of hitting.
Pause.
And she was like, "So you're gonna have?"
I wasn't. Now, no. Now, by the way, 2 things can be true. The first thing I said was true. Is
that son?
The first thing I said was absolutely true, that we had just got there and I'd had 2 drinks. And by the way, people were filing in. I wasn't doing none of that. Now, that said, we went out afterwards to a dive bar, and I know I showed out. Yeah. I know I showed out. I know I did because I was there. I seen it. But like, you know, but
I only had 5 drinks, so I remember.
But at that point though, they were all drinking too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like their thing was like, how could you drink before the show? And my thing is like, you know, no offense, but y'all would hit a lot harder if you did. You know, because you see what I did? You see how that hit? Well, you know, I was drunk. But anyways, but like
some of these young comedians are learning horrible lessons right now, both literally and through osmosis. They're like,
I disagree.
Oh yes, God forbid they go out and hit.
Yeah, right.
That'd be terrible. What a crime for everyone to hit.
They're gonna
real
be
hard.
chasing the dragon. One of them's gonna wake up in a fucking gutter in 2 years, and you're be the guy they blame instead of their dad.
No, you know, I mean, yeah, that's
whatever.
What
I'm saying. Like you said, it feels like it's either, oh, you can never drink before a show, that's unprofessional, you can't do any of this, anything at all, or you're fucking John Belushi, and that is insane. There is such a massive spectrum between those two, and we are really relatively we don't ever cause no trouble, get kicked out of nowhere, do nothing like miss any shows, cheat on our wives. None of that ever happens. We literally just be drinking, and that is enough to even drinking. Your behavior is fine, and you kill on stage. Just the drinking is enough to make you a pariah, and that's fucking stupid. I
think.
Amen.
Belushi, I agree with you. I think Belushi and Farley and those stories created the other thing.
Yeah, it happened in wrestling too, by the way, because I remember when I first started hanging out with wrestlers, like through Conrad or whatever, I genuinely, like, I remember we were going to a party at Cody Rhodes' house, right? Fucking Dusty Rhodes' son, and all these, the Young Bucks were going to be there, and like all these new wrestlers that I just now heard of. And I'm like, dude, and it was in Atlanta. I was like, this is about to be fucking lit, bro. And Cody had like a drink, but none of the other wrestlers drink. And I was sitting there like with a 30 rack, just like, I got some for everybody, you know? And they were like, no, we don't drink. And I was like, wait, what? And they were like, oh, we do. We have to be in peak physical performance. And I was like, yes, that all makes sense to me. But like, So was Macho Man, but they watched all them die. And so I get it. Like they literally, they saw Eddie Guerrero die at 36 and they're like, fuck all that.
Any kind of athlete, I do understand it because it does objectively affect you for the worst.
Of course. And it's more
speaking.
competitive now.
And that's not
the only.
Well, I mean, I guess some people think that's true for comedy too, but me and Cho believe that it's not true.
It's not.
The only other thing I'm doing Trump hands. The only other thing that I'll say to argue with you guys a little is, this is my cross examination of the Cho. This is where I would.
It's about me now. Trey's been the loudest, but
I know, but this is where I would pull up a clip of you on this very podcast talking about how sobriety led to some of your most creative outputs.
Yeah, it does.
So I think
Not
for a
on
lot
stage,
of people,
though.
I think for a lot of people, they don't feel like they can or should tempt fate by riding the line like this. Like a lot of people are like, I'll be Belushi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's that. But I genuinely don't think. I really think it's like hyper competitive. People are very like, you're on this tour bus with successful people. They're super, super into their career. And I think they're just like, yeah, maybe it would be better and more fun, or maybe I'd be John Belushi.
Dude, but here's the thing, though. I feel you. Like when I'm home, when I'm making videos, when I'm like, and whatever. Like I don't drink when I do all that because, like you said, editing hungover ain't good. And so all of that, and like all the jokes that I wrote, I wasn't slang. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been like, if I'm on stage and I'm buzzed up riffing, I'll think of a tag and then I'll write it down. But all my ideas usually come sober. It's just when I'm on the stage, I want to have a drink. So like I'm with you in that. Like when I write, like, whether it's writing the book, writing an essay or whatever, I'm usually stone cold sober because like I like to be I feel like I need to be in a good mood to create something good. But but being on stage, though, you're supposed to drink.
Right. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I just think that their mentality is they're not trying to have the most fun tonight or even necessarily put on the best show. They're trying to have the best career.
Go fucking work in accounting.
That's exactly what I was about to say. They're not trying the most. It's like, go work in a fucking office then. If you don't want, like, why do this?
What I tell them,
have fun with it.
What I tell the literary agency or publishing or whatever the fuck it was. This is why your industry's dying.
Right.
Those motherfuckers won't drink no more.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why most comedy is just, what do you do for a living, sir? Oh, that's crazy.
Yep. Everything's pussified, boys. That's what it is.
And again, to go back to what Trae said.
Me too. It's about time.
Okay. Well, I won't do that then.
Hey, listen. So, come see me perform drunk. I won't be drunk. I'll be drinking. It'll hit. And Tulsa this weekend with Donnie. And then also, guess what, y'all? At the end of this month, I got a big, week-long run through New York and Connecticut, including Brooklyn and upstate and everywhere else. And on that run is going to be former guest Allie Clayton. She's going to be with me on that run. So y'all come and see us. I hope I don't get exactly what I was about to say. I hope I don't get buried that entire time, but probably pretty likely. Either way, go TreyCrowder.com and come see me.
Drew.
Oh, I'm on vacation in Kentucky with my family. The second half of the Child Support Tour doesn't start back up till September. So I'll be in and around Knoxville, but mostly just listen to Gravy Baby and share my clips.
If you're listening to this when it comes out, I'll be at Graceland just doing the Elvis tour. But then Thursday night, Memphis, and then this weekend, Fayetviile, Arkansas. I'll throw that link up in the description of this. BonusCorey.com is obviously my essays, my bonus podcasts and stuff. Listen to Puttin on Airs. And also the sister show is back. Me and my sister, Lady Kirby, are recapping House of the Dragon on our podcast, Little House of the Dragon, which you can find on the Puttin on Airs feed. Thank you all for listening to the WellRED Show. We love it. Stick around longer, but we got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do. Ooh, frog in my throat. Thank you. God bless you. Good night and Skews.
Skews. Whoop. Bart. Oh, yeah, I'm in charge. All right.
We're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy. fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. We collected from our love of Downton Abbey. We collected, we found out we're both so fancy. Hey, what's the difference between rednecks and royal families? Only money, cause they both have sex with family. Ew. Putting on airs. What other rednecks will talk about foreign affairs? Laughing so hard that we end up falling out our chairs. Sir Trae, Sir Corey, oh what a pair. High class topics with a redneck flair, oh yeah. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Okay, it's Team Squirrel or Team Trae. Oh yeah, we keeping it basic. He thinks that the squirrels at Corey's mom's house are racist. And you know squirrels live in the same place for generations. So Trae, you better count your days and you better count your blessings. Cause all the squirrels that you ran over, that you think are nameless, faceless, their families are getting together and plotting on you from the attic and basement. So even though Corey is dumb, fat, and bald, he knows how to avoid drama, don't get squirrels involved. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea,